Would you believe me if I told you that this face beat has absolutely no foundation on it? Well, if you want to know how I came up with this look, you might want to keep watching. If you're new here, you're welcome, and kindly subscribe if you haven't, and share this video and give it a thumbs up. Now, without much further ado, let's get started. Now I'm starting with a bare face. As you can see, all I did was just wash it with my Dettol Even Tone soap, and I'm going to go on with my Aramis as my primer. I had mentioned in my previous video that I use basic petroleum jelly as my primer, but if possible you can just go get primer itself. Then right after that, I'm taking my spoolie, just shaping my eyebrows so that I can know how exactly I want to draw them out. Then I'm going in with my pencil, Davis number 3. It only goes for 30 bob at Du Bois, and I'm going to first start with drawing an outline. So first, what I do is I draw the outline and then I fill it in. And then something that you're going to notice is that I'm going to go in with my concealer and clean out and just now figure out the shape that I want to go with my eyebrows. And then right after that is now when I fill in the places that I had left out. That is something that I do, and I think it's something that you do with eyebrows. You're going to go back there a lot until you find the shape that you desired. I had mentioned in one of my previous videos that eyebrows has got to be one of the hectic things to do, but once you're done with that, it's like you're done with your makeup. Now that we are done with our eyebrows, I'm just going to go back with the same concealer. The shade is in the shade Espresso, and I'm going to use it as my eyeshadow primer. So I'm just going to apply it and then blend it out with a brush. You don't need to blend it out with a brush. You can even blend it out with your finger. It still gets the job done. Now I'm setting my primer, which is basically my concealer, with my powder, which is the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade Espresso. Okay, so now let's dive into my Juvia's Place palette. I am really loving this palette. I'm really loving playing around with the colors. I am enjoying it, which by the way, I need to remind you, I did do a review on it, so you can go watch it and decide if this is something that you might want to try out. That's my brother. Hi, he's quite a stubborn one. You'll see a lot of him and my mother at some point there. So the shade that I'm going in with is the shade called Fire, and all I'm just doing is I'm tapping it first onto my outer V, and then once I've tapped it all in, I've tapped all the product, I'm now going to blend it in. So I prefer doing it that way instead of starting with blending and blending and blending. First of all, tap the product and then start blending it in. Now for my transition shade, I am using the shade Oversabi, still from the same palette. It's just going right above the Fire shade, and all I'm doing is to just make sure that there are no harsh lines where the eyeshadow is on my eye. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if there are gentlemen watching this video, I highly appreciate you, and just drop a comment down below. The shade that I'm using right now is power. Normally people cut their creases, but for me, since I have hooded eyes, it's not really something that I do a lot or even do at all. I just go on with the shade and just make sure I just blend it well with the shades that had gone earlier before it. Now the eye is done. Let us now do our makeup without no foundation. I'm going to go in with my concealer. My concealer is the Illegal Cosmetics concealer in the shade Espresso. It's quite a little bit lighter than me, so that's what I'm going to use under my eyes, on my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, and right above my cupid's bow, and below my lip, and on my jawline. I hope that's my jawline. Yeah, so that's how I'm going to apply it. Then right after that, while it's drying out, you just give it a few minutes so that it could dry out, maybe even seconds. So I'm going in with my mascara because I had forgotten to do that. So that's what I'm doing, then blending it in. You have to be extremely patient with the blending process. I just had to speed this process a little bit, but it did take quite a while. So I'm blending it in, and basically what you're doing right now is highlighting. So once this shade is blended in and well, I'm going to go now with a darker shade on the spots that I had not highlighted, so as to bring some form of shadow on my face, to just make sure that my face is not all lighted up. Or like I had told you in one of my previous videos, foundation makes your face to be just one tone. So what I'm doing is contouring to introduce some shadow onto my face, to just make sure that all the structures and everything can be seen clearly. My contour concealer is still from Illegal. It is in the shade Dark Cocoa, and now I'm just going to also blend that in. One thing you should know, makeup really needs a lot of patience, especially when it comes to the blending in process. You need to be extremely patient doing that. Most people use brushes, but you can also use a beauty blender as I am using, and the beauty blender that I am using, I got it for 100 shillings at Dubois Road. Yeah, so it's quite cheap. Now, as I go in with my powder, say hi to my mother. She did make quite an appearance in my video, so that's her right behind me. People say we look alike, so comment down below and tell me if there is any similarity. If there is not, also just tell me. So I'm just going to apply this powder all over my face to cover all the products that are on my face, which is basically concealer and a mist. Here, my mom sees everything coming together, and I'm sure what she said there is, hey, and you look really nice. So whatever I'm saying there, I'm just responding to her and saying, thank you so much. Anyway, so now we are going to blush our face. The shade that I'm going in with is Busybody, quite a light pinkish color. Tap it off and then just apply some right above where you did your contour. Now on to highlighting. I'm going to go back with the same palette that I have used, and I'm going to use the shade Stand Up. I'm going to highlight right above where I did my blush. I'm also going to highlight the bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, my cupid's bow. I am actually one person that advocates for highlighting your cupid's bow first. It also helps you when it comes to aligning your lipstick and just applying your lipstick well, so it really does help. And then go back with a damp beauty blender, and now just make sure that all the products that you've added are blending in well, which is the blush and the highlighter. It's blending in well with the products that are already on your face. Now onto lipstick. Today we are applying blue lipstick. The shade that I'm using is known as Nairobi Blue from the collection known as Huda Cosmetics. Huda is a Kenyan entrepreneur and her lipsticks are actually really nice. You might want to try them out. So now you see, because I highlighted my Cupid's bow first, it now becomes really easy knowing how exactly I'm going to apply. The best way to apply your lipstick is you need to outline first the edges of your lips, and then once you've done that, you can now fill in. It's just like doing your eyebrows. You first outline and then now filling in becomes way easier. Now I'm just going to my palette and using the same shade that I've used on my eye, the blue shade, to just add some color on my under eye. We have now reached the end of this video, ladies and gentlemen. That is how I was able to achieve this look with absolutely no foundation. So if you don't want to buy foundation, or you need to save up a little bit, then you can buy these products and use them. So bye bye.